What is up, Heat Seekers? I'm back. I had a couple people asking me, where were you last Sunday? So I had a sick day. These guys had to cover for me. Bryce, how are you doing? It's week 10. Can you believe we're this far into the season?
Yeah, it's flown by. I'm doing pretty well. I won in pretty much all the leagues I needed to last week, and then finally cashed in that $150 DFS league that we're in. Joe D'Antoni's. Thanks to your boy Justin Fields. Thanks to your man Justin Fields, and a lot of help from some other people. Everybody except Joe Mixon, I pretty much had on my team, just went nuts. I didn't have him in my lineup, which would have been nice, but it was a good week for me. So, Sully, how was your week?
You know who did have Joe Mixon in their lineup? Pretty much everybody I played last week. So my week was okay. I'm clipping along where I want to do well, and I'll be playoff bound. And teams where I'm rebuilding obviously are going in the opposite direction. Halfway through a guillotine league that looks like I might meet my demise today, but no, the season's flying. It's going by faster than Julio Jones across the middle. So it's been a fun season so far.
Julio Jones, just touchdown king now, huh?
I haven't seen him run like that in 5 years.
6 years, yeah.
He was flying.
Yeah. I did not have so much luck in the DFS league last week. I had some good plays, but I couldn't put it all together. But I do have Joe Mixon in two of my big leagues, so nice. I ended up. In the 4 250s I'm in, we do $50 a week for the high score, and I won high score in 3 out of the 4 last week. So that was a pretty good week.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, everything just chucking along and trying to finish out the regular season here strong to go into the playoffs with some of these teams and make some money.
Yeah, baby.
Look at this. So when I got in here to set everything up, like 15 minutes before we started, and Michael was already here just saying, man, I need a tight end. Sully, is Komet a decent start this week? Or would you go with Tanyan, Gesicki, or anyone potentially on waivers?
I'd start Cole Komet over all of these guys, and I'm going to assume anyone who's on waivers in your league. It's interesting, and Rick would know this better than anyone, with the Bears, it seems as when they started to give Justin Fields design runs, it sort of turned this offense on. And Mooney's been better. Komet's been better. Both backs have been contributing. Fields has been unbelievable. He set an NFL record for rushing yards last week. Komet caught 2 touchdowns, and I believe it's 3 touchdowns in his last 2 games. I think he's finally becoming the Cole Komet that everybody thought he was going to be. I don't like any piece of Green Bay, and I'm not so sure Mike Gesicki is even a top 3 option in that offense. So for me, it's Komet rather easily. Bryce, how about you?
Yeah, I was going to mention the 3 touchdowns in 2 weeks now, but yeah, it's Cole Komet for me as well. Gesicki is just inconsistent, and with Komet now coming off back-to-back really good performances at the tight end position, I'll roll with the hot hand when it comes to guys like kind of in that outside that top tier range like this. Rick?
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk just about this Chicago offense and what has happened over the past month. And, Cade McNown made a good point that people forget that the first few weeks of the season, the coaches were still teaching this offense to the players. Like they weren't ready to just go and do this and not learn the offense. You had to learn the offense before you could really turn it on like this. So, yeah, as they unleashed Justin Fields, they've schemed Cole Komet more. You guys are talking about the 3 touchdowns, and a lot of people forget that he had 0 in 2021.
Right.
He had 0 through 7 weeks in 2022. So they're obviously utilizing him more. There's more threats on the field with Claypool there. It's just helping open up that offense a little bit more with at least not only a big play threat, but a wide receiver that you can just throw a 50-50 ball to if you need to get a first down. And that's helping the rest of the offense. It's going to help Mooney a lot. So that's been real good. But I'm definitely playing Cole Komet here out of them, and I'm doubting there's somebody on the waivers that you would pick up that would be in a better spot, because the Bears have done this really against some solid defenses. None of them have been piss poor defenses. Now they get Detroit Lions. If they're scoring 35 against New England and 29 against Dallas and 32 against Miami. They should be able to put up 30 against Detroit. Obviously, we know that that's not how Sundays work.
Right.
What should happen
like
doesn't
7-0.
happen, but
sure make this a lot easier, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I'm going with Komet there. He also wants to know Daniel Jones or Kirk Cousins. Bryce, why don't you go first on this one?
So I know Kirk has Bills today. Who do the Giants play? Houston?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I'll probably go with Daniel Jones today. The Bills defense has, even though their secondary has been kind of depleted, they still do well against quarterbacks. And I'll take the rushing upside with Daniel Jones. He's been playing lights out himself this year. So, Sully, are you going with your boy Kirk Cousins, or are you going the opposite way with Daniel Jones?
So the Bills are decimated in the back end. They've got almost nothing going on.
Boyer's out too.
They got no linebackers. They got no D-backs. Their safeties are hurt. They're banged up like crazy. Quarterbacks don't typically do well this season against Houston, and it's not because Houston's a great pass defense. It's because you run the freaking hell all over that defense.
so bad against the run.
So Saquon's going to have a monster day, but the equalizer for me today is snow and like mid-30s in Buffalo. So I'm a little bit up in the air. I'm still going to go with Cousins, but that weather is more of an equalizer than anything else for me. I'll go with Cousins, but I wouldn't fight anyone for starting Jones. What are you doing, Rick?
Where's the Giants game? Because I mean, if there's snow in Buffalo,
it's in New York. Let me look.
Is it snowing in Buffalo? I mean, it definitely could snow in Buffalo and not in New York, right? So,
right.
That's
that's actually, and it's Jersey too, right? So, gents, I'll find it.
But I mean, I think I'm going with Kirk Cousins too. I agree, because that was going to be my point, is that Saquon and probably even Matt Breida are going to run down Houston's throat, right? And you know, that doesn't mean that Daniel Jones, you know, in the first half can't throw for a couple touchdowns and get you there. But I like the idea of Kirk Cousins needing to throw to keep up with Josh Allen. You know, hopefully Josh Allen, it looks like he's going to play. Hopefully he's healthy and can perform, and that game could end up turning into a shootout. And that's why I'll go with Cousins. I don't know that Davis Mills can keep up with the Giants today.
52 degrees, partly cloudy in the Meadowlands today.
Yeah. I still agree with you, though. I think Cousins is the play, potential shootout, and I just don't see that with the other game. So Daniel Jones is good, though. I'm starting him in a league over Aaron Rodgers.
I would do that.
I'm, you know, him and what about Jared Goff? Would you start Jared Goff over Rodgers?
No.
Really? Against the Bears depleted defense?
I don't think so.
Our top two cornerbacks could be out too. Vildor's already out, and Jalen Johnson's questionable today.
Jalen Johnson's significant to me. That's a good point. No, I'm still going with Rodgers.
I would take Jared Goff.
Certainly don't blame you for that.
Bryce Long wants to know, PPR, Tony or Gallup? And that's one to put on the list, right? Mr. Hardman's out, right?
Yeah, he wasn't on there. Yeah, Mikol's out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bryce, why don't you answer this for Bryce?
Yeah. Man, I really want it to be Tony, but I can't put him in until he proves it. I'm not sure how long it takes for new players to get this Kansas City offense. I was going to mention Mecole Hardman potentially being out. I didn't know if he was ruled out or not, but that like opens the door wide open for Tony. But Michael Gallup, how did he do last week? I didn't even pay attention to.
Bounced back a little bit. I think he did okay last week. I can look.
Weren't they on bye last week?
Oh yeah, sorry. 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, he had a decent week, I believe. I think he got
2 weeks ago against Chicago. He started with like 4 receptions on like the first 2 drives, and then they didn't throw it to him the rest of the game.
And then they're against the Packers, whose secondary is actually probably top 7 against the wide receivers.
Yeah, but a big part of that is Zaire, and he's
he's on CD.
Well, yeah, but he doesn't. He's always complaining about how he doesn't shadow people, right? So he's not going to be on CD the whole game. So he's going to be on Gallup some. I might go with Hardman out, Tony with an extra week. I might go Tony here.
I think I am too. Like, I'm looking at all these matchups that their defense has played and looking at maybe like the number 2 receiver, and the number 2 receivers don't do well. Like for anybody going against Green Bay either. It's not like Eric Stokes, is he playing? He might be.
No, he's out. He might be out for the year.
Yeah, he was very good too. I think he was just getting overshadowed by Zaire. I'll go with Tony here. I think you get a better, just as good of a ceiling play, and he might be a more safe option. They did invest a decent amount of draft capital to get him, so I would imagine they try and get him going as soon as he can. So I'll lean Tony. I'm
going the other way. I'm going to go with Michael Gallup. I think Hardman being out is going to help Juju. It's going to elevate Kelsey. You might see some more passing downs. Always getting the book. Some passing downs work out of the backfield with either McKinnon if he can go and Pacheco. So I'm going to stick with Gallup here. I just think at this point in time he's a better talent in an offense that he knows comparable to Tony. But Kadarius is a good guy to have stashed on your bench for later on this year.
See, I'm a Gallup guy. I've been screaming since before the season that Gallup was undervalued, but I still think Tony is more talented. But I do agree that the new offense, that's the issue, right? That's a big issue for wide receivers. It's a lot different than running backs where you can just be like, you're hitting the A gap.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think there's any denying that Tony is an incredible talent with the ball in his hands. I just don't know how often he's going to have the ball in his hands. So I think Gallup can get you down the field 35, 40 yards at least once, and then maybe 3 or 4 other ones. So it's close, but I'll go with Gallup.
The biggest issue with this Dallas offense to me right now from a fantasy perspective, like this week specifically, is the fact that I don't know that Green Bay can keep up with them, which kind of stutters all the passing options, right? Because we already know that Dallas, if they've got the lead, they have zero problems just leaning on Elliott and Pollard and not throwing the ball a lot. And Green Bay couldn't score against Detroit last week, so are they going to score against Dallas?
I don't know. I don't think the Dallas defense is as good as it's been billed either. I think you guys exposed them a little bit. That said, your point about running on Green Bay, it's not to the same extent as it is in Houston, but you can run on Green Bay, and teams have been running quite handsomely against them in weeks past. So Zeke may or may not go, but if he doesn't, we saw what Pollard did without him. I think he can do some damage there, but it's almost like Dallas, when Dak went down and they went with Cooper Rush, they went with this ultra conservative offense, and they've almost kept it going with Dak. Like, he's not the Dak of years past where he'd throw 45, 50 times a game. So I'm still sticking Gallup, but it's probably a lot closer than I'm making it out to be. I just don't know what Tony's going to do for snaps.
Oh, yeah. I'm not arguing against like that Tony is like easy over Gallup, because I think Gallup's really good. I do think when that offense needs to throw that many times, then he's like, that offense can really serve 3 pass catching options, right?
Yeah.
Right now it's really only doing 1 because they're not needing to. Chicago's the same way, right? They just ran over Chicago because Chicago can't stop the run. Green Bay doesn't put pressure on the quarterback because they miss Zadarius Smith. Good for your Vikings.
Yes,
and then they lost Gary last week.
Yep.
You said Stokes is out. Like, they don't stop the run. They don't put on pressure, which is going to make it hard on the cornerbacks in the secondary. Which leads to, potential Gallup success. Marco says, good afternoon. It's morning here, man. That was it Dubbeldorf or where is that? Dusseldorf.
Yeah. He should be in Munich today, though. Go to the game.
Got JT, Pacheco, Cook, Spiller, and Mitchell. Half PPR, start 2. I mean, I think there's only 2 on here that you can consider, right? I guess maybe 3.
Maybe a third.
I mean, here's the question: do you go JT and Pacheco, or do you go JT and Mitchell? Because we know it's JT, right? Like everybody here is starting JT out of this group.
Yeah.
Yes.
So obviously, Pacheco and Mitchell kind of have the same issues. We don't know how many touches they're going to get on a given week, because it could be McKinnon getting a bunch of work, it could be CEH getting a bunch of work, or it could just be them throwing the ball 65 times and running the ball like 9.
I think that's more likely, but I also think that Pacheco is at least the starting running back. We all know who the starting running back in San Francisco is now. And CEH played a season-low percentage of snaps last week, and McKinnon is questionable coming into this week. So I think if they do run the ball, they're going to give Pacheco his fair share. I don't know. How is Jacksonville as a run D? I don't even know.
I actually have. Okay, that's the schedule. Where's my points against? I had it up here. Fantasy points allowed. So to the running back, we have.
They're ranked 24th.
So you can run.
See, I have them ranked 10th worst.
10th worst.
So 22nd.
Yeah, they have it backwards. They rank like for the best matchup.
Yeah.
So they're the 10th best matchup. They give up 28.5. They give up 21.7 points per week to the running back.
So Pacheco won't get that, and I would guess that Kansas City's backs combined might not get that, but I still think he's the secondary option here. The half PPR hurts Cook. Spiller's irrelevant, I think, unless Eckler goes down, and Mitchell, I think, is borderline irrelevant unless CMC goes down. So I got to go with JT and Pacheco. Bryce, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's JT and Pacheco for me as well. I mean, all these other options, like somebody's going to have to get hurt. James Cook is getting implemented more and more, it seems like. I'm not sure what his snap percentages have done the past couple of weeks, but
yeah, but that's probably going to go backwards now with Hines having an extra week, right? Like
it will. And Cook has only really been playing in blowouts, and they haven't been blowing teams out. Allen's sort of struggled the last couple of weeks, right? They lost to the Jets, and then I can't remember who they beat the week before, but they didn't blow their doors off. So
he was in the second drive last week because I was watching that game. He started the second drive. So
that's not bad.
I thought that was interesting, but I'll take the guy that when it comes to guys like this, like Pacheco and on, I'll take the guy that I think has the best chance to score a touchdown, and I'll take the running back on the Chiefs offense.
See, I'm going the same way, but I think Mitchell's got a better shot. I just don't think that we know who and what Pacheco is going to do every week. We don't even know if they're going to run the ball 10 times.
It's very true.
City.
Very true.
Mitchell's still going to be involved even with CMC there, right? It's not going to be the 20 carries that Mitchell was getting before, but we know that the backup running back can vulture multiple touchdowns in a 49ers offense. We've seen Jeff Wilson do it with other guys starting, and I understand that at CMC it's not the same, but they're going to run the ball a lot, and they're going to use multiple backs in San Francisco, and
that's fair.
They want to keep CMC healthy, right? Because that's their playoff weapon. That's the thing that in the playoffs puts them ahead of a lot of teams. So they want to save him, and we know Mitchell can be good. I'm going to go Mitchell here. I don't trust any of the Kansas City running backs. I don't want to put any of them in a lineup if I don't have to. And I do think Spiller, he was one of the guys that I made sure was on our waiver wire video last week, because if anything happens to Eckler, Spiller's going to be a monster and could be a league winner for fantasy. He took over the carry lead from Michelle last week. I think he's the guy there. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's not going to be as efficient as Eckler, but I want the running back in that offense for sure, because we know they'll throw the ball to him. I mean, Eckler was going into last week, he was the number one fantasy running back. Yeah. So Spiller is a guy to keep an eye on. It's not this week, but could definitely be big down the stretch.
And they don't have very many pass catchers, right? So that's a good call.
Who for my wide receiver 1 and 2? My options are Rondell Moore, Jerry Jeudy, Thielen, Treylon Burks, Jarvis Landry, DeAndre Carter, and Michael Gallup. Sully, do two of these stick out to you?
Yeah, fairly easily for me is Jerry Jeudy and Rondale Moore. I just like the matchups for both. I like the usage of both. They're both, Jerry Jeudy has evolved to become the primary target of Russell Wilson. Wilson's playing a little bit better, and they're playing a defense that's incredibly hard to run on, but not so hard to throw on. So I like Jerry Jeudy by a lot. And Rondale Moore, when they put him in the slot, he's effective. When they try to run him outside, he's 3 feet tall. You can't play out wide. So he needs to play in the slot, but he gets the ball in his hands and he's electric. So
when you're 3 feet tall and your quarterback's only 2 feet tall,
right?
You got to get out in open space.
Totally. So Thielen's banged up and a shell of himself. Burks is coming right back off of IR. I don't know what. Jarvis Landry hasn't played in a long, long time. Carter's interesting, and Gallup, I liked him earlier, but not against these guys. So Moore and Jeudy for me. Bryce?
Yeah, those are the two that stick out for me. Jeudy is my favorite out of the group, and then Rondale Moore. 8 targets last week, 7 targets the week before. So I'll take that same trend. Hope he gets around the same amount of targets in production. So
Could be Colt McCoy. Does that change your mind?
No, he did pretty well with them last year.
No.
They still throw the ball around.
I agree.
Yeah. Short passes like Rondale Moore, I feel like would be good.
Might help him actually, right?
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the two I'm going with as well, but I think Adam Thielen is in that bunch. I think those three are ahead of the rest of the crowd here. We know Thielen could run 10 routes and score 3 touchdowns in a Vikings game. Like he's just an end zone monster. But yeah, I'm going Jeudy and Moore. I think they're both getting a lot of work right now, and especially in PPR leagues. So it's them two at the top. I am curious to see how Jarvis Landry does. I think he could be big down the stretch now that he's healthy and back. With Michael Thomas out for the remainder of the year, it's just him and our boy Olave. I never know how to say his name. How do you say his name?
Olave.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, more.
I should have said like Olave. Make you say it like that.
Olave.
The rest of his career.
Olave.
Yeah. It's French.
Rashawn wants to know: Lazard, Mooney, Devonta Smith, Sutton, DPJ needs to pick 3, and it is half PPR. Let me ask you this: Is everybody on board with Lazard and Mooney?
Yeah.
Mooney.
Lazard, when he's on the field, averages 14 points per game for fantasy. So I like those two. I personally like the first 3.
Okay, so we talk about this all the time, and you guys give me a hard time, but I do think that Lazard is in that category of wide receivers where the matchup matters, right? He's not a dominant outside receiver. Trevon Diggs scare you at all on Alan Lazard, because that kind of scares me, but he's in there for me.
A little bit. Yeah, I would say that's fair, but who else is Aaron Rodgers going to throw the ball to today? So
the turf.
Samori Toure.
The defense.
Oh, damn. We were kind of being casual, and then the question started rolling in.
I'll pick it up then. I'm struggling here. It's Mooney for sure. It's Smith for me. It's between Lazard and Sutton. I keep expecting Sutton to bounce back, but until he does, I guess I got to go Lazard.
Yeah, those are my 3 as well.
Those are the 3 I'm going with as well. I am really interested. I was not a DPJ fan at all when he came out, but I'm kind of interested to see what he does with Watson when Watson gets back.
Even with Brissett, he's like 4 for 70 almost every week.
We got 2 weeks for
He needs to score. Yeah.
Who for my flex? Antonio Gibson, Jamal Williams, or James Conner? Sully, who are you going with here out of these 3 running backs?
Jamal Williams for me. The guy's going to score. He does every week, if not a couple of times, and he's kind of their top back. So that's what I'm doing. And you can run on you today, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go with Jamal Williams as well. I really like all 3 of these options, but Jamal Williams for me as well.
I'm going with Jamal Williams as well. How weird is that? Out of these 3, in week 10, we're like, hey, give us Jamal Williams, not James Conner.
Who are you going with? Who's second?
I think it's got to be Gibson right now. They're actually utilizing him as a pass catcher, which I mean, that whole Brian Robinson thing was like a benefit to Gibson because it made them use him like we thought they were going to when they drafted him and converted him to running back.
Yep.
We thought him and CEH, right? Come out the same year. We think are going to be pass catching backs. And then the teams don't throw to him.
I know.
And we're like, what the hell? This guy was a wide receiver in college.
Yep.
So I think that it's actually benefited him, especially from the fantasy perspective, that Brian Robinson came in, has taken carries, and they're utilizing him as a pass catcher.
I agree.
I would go James Conner.
I'm right there.
James Conner gets more like targets, really. Like he gets targeted all the time. He just didn't get a lot of yards last week. I think he had five catches, 5 targets. I mean, and he's on the field more. So that's.
I think Rondell Moore's evolution has hurt James Conner, in my opinion.
I think James Conner's legs hurt James Conner.
I mean,
there's that.
There's that. I wish I was in Munich, but didn't get any tickets. They could have sold 3.
Yeah, I wish I was in Munich too.
Laura and Jim Cooperman need 2 in PPR. Pittman, Slayton, Ayuk, Devonta Smith. Bryce.
Pittman for sure. Yeah. Well, I knew what last week was going to happen. Like going against New England, they only shut down one guy. I'll go Pittman and who does I'll go Pittman and Devontae Smith. It's close with Ayuk for me though. All right, who you got then, Sully?
There's only one Colt you can start this week and any week going forward until things change, in my opinion, and that's JT. I'm going to go with the Ayuk and Smith here fairly easily.
I'm starting Pittman. I'm not taking him out yet.
What do you guys see in there?
Targets. They're going to have to throw the ball a lot.
They have to throw it to him. Here's
a fun stat. So Sam Ehlinger has his 3rd start this week with his 3rd offensive coordinator.
That's the worst I've ever heard.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm still going Pittman. I mean, they're gonna have to throw the ball. Pittman's the best talent out of this group.
And it's the Raiders.
They don't stop the
pass.
Fair.
That is fair.
And then it's hard for me between Ayuk and Smith because I feel like Ayuk has been more consistently being targeted.
Definitely. Yeah.
And but we also had Debo out a little bit there, so what's that going to do? We haven't seen CMC and Debo on the field at the same time, like full go, right? CMC last week was like full bore, but Debo was out.
Yeah.
The first week he didn't get a whole lot of work, so that is kind of scary.
That's going to be an interesting offense with all those guys on the field. Hey, Ayuk, Samuel, Kittle, CMC, even Juszczyk's back. Like, look out.
And Elijah Mitchell's back.
That's right.
They've got a deep. All right, I'll figure this out. I think I go Ayuk. I think I go Ayuk and Pittman.
I want to bet on this, but I'm not going to.
Right? I'm not comfortable with it. I don't love it.
Yeah.
Johnny Camarena says, pick one. Cooper, Sutton, or Hopkins, PPR. I think we're all going to be on the same page here. Bryce, who are you picking?
Yeah, Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins. It doesn't matter who's throwing it to him. Sully could go out there and be quarterback, and I'm picking Hopkins.
I don't know about that. I mean, his ADOT would be shit.
that's pushing.
All you got to do is
but
throw it in his direction.
37 one-yard targets are still a lot of PPR points.
I would take one hit and be dust, so I wouldn't be the quarterback for long. I don't know how you don't take Hopkins here. I like all 3 of these guys, and it would be Hopkins, Cooper, Sutton for me, but it's Nuke by miles.
Yeah, I think Cooper and Hopkins are a gap ahead of Sutton, but I'm going Hopkins as well. I want to play Amari Cooper everywhere, and I think Amari Cooper becomes a weekly must start here in just a couple weeks.
Yep.
Yeah, if that quarterback is anything like he was, absolutely.
Going to be discussing. I mean, we saw him and Will Fuller, and we saw Will Fuller just
right.
be huge. What do you think Amari Cooper is going to do if he's there and he's good?
You're right. Yep.
All right, Adam. Brandon Ayuk or Jerry Jeudy in a PPR flex spot? I'm already starting Debo in a wide receiver spot. Thank you. I don't think this one matters, right? I think everybody's going Jerry Jeudy here.
I am, regardless of Debo.
Jerry Jeudy for me as well.
Yep. Good luck there, Adam. I mean,
what's up, Lanny? Or Zoltan? What did he change his last name to?
Who the hell is that?
I mean,
what's up, Lanny?
I mean,
seriously, we don't have time for this shit. Move on.
I think Bryce has a crush out there.
What do you mean? He's the one messaging me.
It's good.
No. I'm saying he's crushing on you. Is what I was meaning.
It's good to have some fans. There's nothing wrong with that.
Start 2 for Tyler here. Half PPR. Ayuk, Mooney, Najee Harris. And he says, "Thanks, my guys."
Wow.
Is Mooney a no-brainer here out of these three?
Yep.
Yeah,
I think so.
I mean, I don't think any of them are no-brainers, but I like Mooney the most for sure.
Who does Pittsburgh play this week?
New Orleans.
Their kind of defense kind of woke up, hey? Najee's been struggling.
Let's see here.
I think I'm going to go with Mooney and Harris. If there's going to be an odd man out in San Francisco, isn't it going to be Brandon Ayuk?
It could be George Kittle, really.
I mean, we've seen George Kittle basically the odd man out with Debo, Ayuk,
and fair.
Him on the field. So
that's what I'm thinking too. But I think I'm going to agree with you, Sully. I'm going to go with Mooney and Najee and hope that Najee gets his production in the pass game.
Just got to hope he scores, right? Like, I don't know. Like, Jimmy's not going to push the ball down the field because he's not going to have to, right? So if he goes intermediate stuff, isn't that more Debo and Kittle and less Ayuk? And maybe some Juszczyk and CMC and Mitchell. And like, it just seems to me like as talented as Ayuk is, he's more of the field stretch guy or the 15 plus yard downfield guy. And I don't know how many times San Francisco does that.
Man, it's tough because Harris just isn't getting the passing work that he got last year. And that's where he really made up his value because their offensive line sucks. He's not efficient as a runner. It's just
their offensive line is awful. I mean,
it's terrible. But Warren is actually eating into his carries now too. And looks better. It's kind of like a Pollard Zeke thing.
We talked about it in week 1. Harris has a Liz Frank injury, and
100%.
we said it's going to follow him the entire season. He's not going to be 100% healthy. And then you factor in the offensive line not getting the receiving work. It's been painful to watch. I mean, Mooney stands ahead here because we know he's going to get targeted. He's going to be the Bears receiver that gets the most work. He found the end zone for the first time this season last week. That offense is cooking, right?
Yeah.
Pittsburgh's offense isn't. I mean, Ayuk could get multiple touchdowns on 2 targets just because of the San Francisco's offense is going to be hard to stop. They're going to be in the red zone all the time.
They should score a ton. So.
Oh, man.
Maybe it is. I don't know. Just start Mooney twice. Can you do that?
I think I do. I think I do agree with you guys. We know Harris is going to at least get touches. So I'm probably going Mooney and Harris, but it's so sad that we've seen Harris go from a guy that was being picked in the top 6 of startups this year, even in redraft, right? To, being a guy where we're like, do we start him or Ayuk?
It's crazy.
That Pitt offense has taken a dump on everybody, huh? But I probably do go Mooney and Harris. It's a tough one though. Some fellas need 2 for full PPR. Rondell, Mooney, Herbert, Thielen. So 2, I have a feeling we're gonna go with the same 2 here with Rondell and Mooney. What are you guys thinking? Is that who you're going with?
Yes, sir.
That's it for me.
Rondell and Mooney for all of us. Ra's been showing up every week for a while here too.
Yep,
Start 2, Mooney, Claypool, Adam Thielen, and Kadarius Toney. So this one gets a little interesting there, Sully. What are you doing?
Mooney's the for sure. Where it gets interesting for me is the Claypool Thielen situation. And I know that it shouldn't, but I think Claypool's going to get a full complementary of snaps this week. I don't think he's going to have the worst matchup in the world. Thielen's averaging about 6 targets a game, which is reasonable, but he's lost his touchdown piece. It's Jefferson is who I can't even remember the name of my own quarterback. Kirk Cousins has been looking for.
and Hawkinson's in the picture now, right?
And that's exactly what I was about to say is TJ Hawkinson blew my doors off last week. I think he's going to be the guy that is his secondary option. So I don't really want to go with both Bears, but I'm going to. Bryce?
Yeah, I am too. I'm going Mooney and Claypool. There was only 2 players that got a pretty surprising workload after getting traded, and that was Chase Claypool and TJ Hawkinson was
and
I
Jeff
couldn't
Wilson.
believe that. And Jeff Wilson, that's correct. I mean, he had like 9 carries. He was just really efficient
and receiving work. Yeah,
and some catches.
I mean, he played way more than Mostert did.
Yeah,
and I didn't expect that in week 1, but still,
yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I didn't think that was as surprising because I knew he was going to a familiar offense anyway, and I thought he was more talented than Mostert. But we'll see. As I feel like it's easier to come in offense and be immediately come in as a running back. I think learning all the routes and stuff is way more difficult. So I'll go with Mooney.
Right?
Yeah, I'll go with Mooney and Claypool, and then Thielen's a relatively close third option for me.
I mean, I agree. I'm glad I let you guys go first because obviously I'm the Bears fan and
Homer,
and I didn't want people to
Homer answer
bias, but I do think that Claypool is going to be a huge weapon in the red zone, and as we've seen the past 4 weeks, and people forget this. Remember how we came on? So what would it have been? Week 7. And we were talking about the Bears Thursday night game against Washington. I said they moved the ball really well. They just couldn't get it in the red zone. And it was kind of, going into that New England game, I kind of said that offense kind of got unlocked. They still have more yards, even though they've scored all the points in the 3 games after. They had more yards in that Washington game. They're getting in the red zone a lot, and I think Claypool is going to be a huge part of that. Him and Mooney could have 10 targets each a game going down the stretch here. And they might only throw the ball 5 times, right? Cole Kmet gets the other 5 because if you throw it to Dante Pettis, he might drop it. If you throw it to ESB, he might drop it. I guess Byron Pringle's coming back. Maybe they throw it to him a couple times.
What about Nikhil?
He's catching it, but he's only getting like 1-2 targets a game.
Scoring touchdowns.
He scored 1 touchdown.
Well, how many did he score in New England?
Do what?
1 or 2.
How many did he score in New England? Did he? Okay.
Yeah, he got a touchdown in New England.
I thought it was like a career high the other day for him, but anyway.
I mean, it is a career high. He's never had more than 1 in a game. What's good, fellas? Need 3 in a defense. Cup. Okay, Cup's in.
Yeah.
We can remove him. Amon-Ra Olave's in. We can remove him. Devonta Smith, full PPR. So we've got are we going Amon-Ra here as the third receiver?
I am.
Yeah, I mean, he's my second favorite.
I love Devonta Smith, but he's been too inconsistent this year.
Yeah, I like Cup, Amon-Ra, Olave in that order for this week.
Olave,
I like Olave more than Amon-Ra, but yeah, me too.
The thing is, does Amon-Ra run most of his routes out of the slot?
Like about 70%, I believe.
Because he's going to get a lot more Kyler Gordon, which is hit and miss. Kyler Gordon's I think he's going to be really good, but he's going to run a lot of the slot.
He's giving up a ton of yards right now, though. Well,
yeah, but that's because he's getting bounced from the slot to outside. He's playing both positions.
Well, he might have to today.
And I like him better in the slot than I do when he's lined up outside. But yeah, I mean, those three I think are clear. Bills or Titans defense. So we've got Bills versus the Vikings.
Titans versus the Broncos.
I'm going with the Bills, and it's not even because I think their defense is better, but I think that's a game where Kirk Cousins is going to drop back a lot, going to be throwing a lot, and like we've talked a billion times, that's what leads to fantasy points for the defense. Fumbles, strip sacks for touchdowns, picks. He doesn't throw a lot of those, but But yeah, I think I'm going to go with the Bills there.
I'm going to go with the Titans just because I don't want the Bills to do good.
Take the Vikings fan with a grain of salt here.
I'll take the Titans as well because I don't really think that Denver scores a lot because they haven't all season. And their D line's all right. It wouldn't surprise me to see them get maybe a couple of sacks on Russell Wilson. So I'll take that.
Perry Williams says start 1 wide receiver and 2 flexes: Devonta Smith, Rondell Moore, Jamal Williams, or Mostert. Well, I think we can take Mostert out of this, right?
Yep.
You do have a super chat. It's not a serious one.
I don't know if I call it.
We'll get it right after this.
Take the money and just delete it.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of made for us, isn't it? Here, or no, 1 wide receiver and 2. Yeah. So if we take,
I think we're just taking out Mostert, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Put in Devonta Smith, Rondell Moore.
I think that might be Wilson's backfield.
Mm-hmm. Split in week 1. Yeah, it's his backfield already.
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, Anthony dipshit. Only 6 likes. Come on, people, drop a like. We got 9 of you in here. Let's go. Dude, I wish they would stop 9:30 a.m. freaking.
This is it, isn't it?
Football games, because that hurts our show. People are busy actually watching football.
Like, I can't believe they wouldn't take that into consideration. Like,
they're like, like when they're making the schedule, like, but Roto Heat goes live,
right? Like, doesn't the NFL have enough target share? Like, back off.
Yeah. A fucking monopoly over here.
Right?
Are you not caring about Kyler being out for Hopkins' confidence today? I have
not
Montgomery
really
against Detroit, who could slide in as my flex. PPR league got Pickens too. No, we've seen last year. I would be interested. We could go look at game logs to see when what's his name started for.
I'm gonna look right now.
But Hopkins just gets too many targets. It doesn't matter who's throwing him the ball.
Yeah, wasn't he still really good with Brandon Whedon as his quarterback at one point?
Even
he the quarterback at one point?
No, that was Josh Gordon and Brandon Whedon.
Who
2013?
Stredler played a little bit last year for Arizona.
Who did he have it? Schaub in Houston. Yeah,
he did. Well, actually, Brandon Whedon may have quarterbacked for Houston.
I thought he did.
He may have.
Houston had about 400 quarterbacks there for a while.
Early in his career, before Watson got there was just a quarterback carousel.
All right, so last year, McCoy started 2 games. He went 13 for 22 for 105, 1-1 in the first one, and 19 for 31 for 221, nothing in the second one.
What weeks were those?
Those are weeks 12 and 14 last year.
12 and 14. So let's pull up. I'm pulling up Hopkins game logs right now. So 2021.
He was hurt last year too, though. He had his hammy.
But
he might miss those games.
Week 12. It couldn't have been week 12 because they were on bye in week 12.
Oh, no, they weren't.
I'm looking at.
It's week 13 and 15, but they did play in week 12.
Okay,
13 and 15.
So that's not a good sign for us.
But did Hopkins play?
Hopkins played week 13 against Chicago. That's one of the McCoy games.
I'm looking at the wrong year. Give me a minute. COVID. I forgot what year it was. So sorry. He started weeks 9, 10, and 11.
Okay. Hopkins was out 9, 10, and 11 last year.
In week 11, he was 35 of 44 for 328 and 2 against the Seahawks.
Yeah, I feel fine with him and Hopkins in there. So that answers that.
We are not worried.
249, 107, 328 is what he threw for.
Jimmy G or Danny Dimes? I think we can all agree on this one as well, right? Danny Dimes?
I'm starting Jimmy G over him.
Ooh, I'll take Danny Dimes.
I'll take Danny Dimes.
So, again, you don't throw the ball a lot against Houston, and Garoppolo has every weapon under the sun. I think Garoppolo could finish as a top 5 quarterback this week.
Yeah, but I'll bet against
Danny
that.
Dimes could run 2 of them. I'll take 5 for Danny Dimes.
No, I'll take 1,000 on Jimmy G outside the top 5.
Well, I'm not going to bet on that, but have you seen I'm not going to bet on it. I said he could be a top 5 quarterback. Have you seen the quarterbacks this week? It's brutal.
Yeah, but Jimmy G could throw as many touchdowns as CMC this week.
Top 10.
That's top 10.
Could be
30.
top 5. Will be top 10.
30.
I'm easily starting Garoppolo over Dimes this week. Easily.
I'll take Dimes.
I'll take the $5 on that one, Bryce.
All right.
Let's do it.
Easy.
Also, how do you feel about Evan Ingram today? And I've got Garoppolo playing as my streamer with Lamar on bye. Danny Dimes also available. Well, if you heard the last question, 2 of us go with Danny Dimes and 1 of us goes with Garoppolo. I like Evan Ingram. Like last week was a dud week, but he had been pretty consistent. He hasn't been getting the monster week, right? But he's getting targeted. So I feel fine putting Evan Ingram in my lineup. I'm starting him in a couple leagues. No issues there. Bryce, what do you think about Evan Ingram?
Yep. Give me Evan Ingram against Kansas City today. They're going to have to throw the ball. Kansas City has not been very efficient against tight ends this year. So I feel good about Evan Ingram, and obviously I would take Danny Dimes off the waiver wire and start him, but I don't think it's as far off as maybe these guys have him. Sully.
I'd like to know who your options are for Ingram because I'm not crazy about him. He's probably 6 and 9 PPR points this week if he doesn't score. It's probably not even that. But tight end's a gross position, so 9.5 points every week is a top 12 tight end. So I'd like to know who else you have, but I don't hate Evan Ingram, but he's outside my top 12 this week, and I'm, like I said before, easily Garoppolo over Jones this week.
Giants, Broncos, or Titans D.
So somebody just targeted Brady on a pass and threw a pick, and I didn't see who it was, but it was god awful.
It's that rookie cornerback too that's been playing really well that got it.
Brady fell down on his route.
I'm going with the Giants here against Houston. Davis Mills is going to have to throw the ball a lot, I think, and I want that all day, every day.
Agree.
Yep, give me the Giants.
Marcos has got Cooks, Thielen, Dotson, Wan'Dale Robinson, McKenzie, and Palmer. Start 3, half PPR. Leftovers, Hawkinson for my flex. Leftovers plus Hawkinson for my flex. So 3 half PPR. I think Palmer's the must start out of these guys, right? Like,
Yep.
I think I go Palmer, Wan'Dale Robinson, and then it should be Cooks, easy, right? But
I don't think
we know what's going on with them in Houston, so I think I'm probably still going Cooks, but I don't like it. Obviously, Dotson has touchdown upside. Thielen has touchdown upside. But I think I'm going Palmer, Robinson, and Cooks. And then I think I'm going Hawkinson in the flex.
Palmer's one. I think quarterback with a bit of a sore elbow might throw and target the slot a little bit more. I kind of like Isaiah McKenzie. Our slot corner, whose name happens to be Sullivan, is god-awful. So I'm going to go with Palmer, McKenzie, and this is where it gets tough for me. It's either Thielen or Wan'Dale. I don't really like Houston, or I don't really like the Giants' passing game. I'll go with Thielen, McKenzie, and Palmer. Bryce?
I'll go with Palmer, Thielen, Brandon Cooks.
We did not help you at all. I think
Kinda.
Palmer
and Hawkinson for sure.
Yeah.
Hawkinson's, yeah, for sure.
Hell yeah, I like them all. That's why it's kind of hard to pick. I don't remember the exact.
That is the
Cooper, Sutton, Hopkins.
Yeah.
Go for Darwin says start Cousins or Daniel Jones. We already had this exact question.
Yeah, earlier from somebody else. Rick and I went Daniel Jones and Sully went Kirk.
No, I still went Kirk on this.
Yeah, you did.
On this one.
Oh, did you?
It's close.
I'm the only one who went Daniel Jones. I went Daniel Jones.
Yeah, we both went Kirk Cousins on this one.
Yeah. Did we bet on that one?
We did not.
Okay. Just check.
We can if you want.
Wait, that have me having I can't because I
Well,
would.
no, all you would need is you'd need Jimmy G to get less than Daniel Jones and Kirk to get more than Daniel Jones. That's all you would need.
Yeah,
well, but I feel like
write it down.
I feel
write
like
it down.
I feel like I get to a certain point where I'm like, no more Daniel Jones, but yes, more because.
Yeah, but the beauty is 3 seconds after this show, I can't remember anything that I said.
I have no idea. How much money have I lost $1 million this year?
The one that pissed me off the most is when we bet $20. I think it was Irv Smith against Tanyan, and Tanyan went 4 for 28, and you won the bet.
Yeah, baby.
Like, it was so bad.
Sometimes you got to win the bad ones.
Yeah, man. Hey, they don't ask you how, they ask you how many.
Mini Jordan says full PPR, choose a wide receiver and a flex. Sutton, Rondell, Wandale, Mooney, Tony, Hollins. I think we're all gonna go with Rondell and Mooney here, right?
I think you have to.
Yep.
Yeah.
I do feel like Sutton has a week, but I don't think you can count on it.
I think Hollins over here is the sneaky one. With Waller and Renfro out, I think Mac Hollins is a guy to watch.
Potentially.
Raiders offense. I mean, when they've been out, he's been good.
I think it's a ton of Josh Jacobs, and Adam sees 16 targets, but he could see some stuff.
Rondell with no Murray. Yeah. They're
no worries.
Throw the ball a lot.
Yep.
And
is James Robinson worth a late first rounder in next year's draft in my 12-team dynasty league? No. The answer is no.
I don't think he's worth a second rounder.
Yeah, he's worth a mid.
I'd give a late second rounder, but
so would I.
Not a first.
I don't think I would.
Tua or Fields, full PPR. So just to fill you guys in, last week, question. 2 of those leagues that I started, or that I won my high score for the week, I had Fields on the bench. One of them was for Tua, and the other one was for Jalen Hurts. I'm going Fields. I think he has shown us enough with his legs. He's rushed for over 60 yards, 40 straight games, 4 straight games.
Feels like it.
And he gets Detroit this week because he's done it against some not bad defenses. And now he finally gets a soft defense. I'm very interested to see what this game turns into. I'm going Fields. Sully's going Fields. Bryce, are you going Fields over Tua?
Yeah, both these guys could have 300 total yards, and Fields could have 150 of them rushing. So you can't. I think he's almost a must start at this point, of outside of like 3 or 4 guys.
I was going to say, I think Fields right now is a top 5 quarterback down the stretch with the way that they're utilizing him. Here's my question.
Those are my 3rd and 4th ranked quarterbacks this week. So
where do you have Jalen Hurts at? Do you start
2.
Jalen Hurts over Fields?
Mahomes, Hurts, Fields, Tua.
Because in those spots where I started Hurts and Tua last week, I've kept Hurts in the one league, and I put Fields in over Tua in the other league. So
covered your butt.
Just so people know, like, I'm not just starting Fields because he's my favorite player.
What's your net worth change when Fields has a good game? Have you figured that out yet? It's got to be pretty good.
I haven't done the math, but it's
every time he goes off, I'm like, damn, somebody's doing okay.
Yeah. So, I mean,
you're not going to get that. You're going to have to pay top dollar for that national treasure at the end of this season.
Yeah. I mean, I will say this. My picking up Justin Fields cards is at least waiting till the off season, but that slows down a lot now because I mean, 3 weeks ago, I got the Prism red and blue discos for a total of $440, which is what each of those were selling for like 2 weeks prior. And now they're all back up and the deals are gone. The Black Friday, I was just talking with another big Justin Fields collector. The Justin Fields Black Friday specials have ended over the past 2 weeks, and it's kind of sad, but at least I have a bunch. At least I was there from the beginning and have a bunch of good ones, because starting now would be painful. Y'all are funny. Best channel out there, DJ Duvernay. I love it, man. I love it.
Appreciate you being here, man.
We appreciate you coming by. We appreciate all of you that come by. We appreciate when you drop that like, hit that sub button. Our goal is to get to 5,000. We're getting there. We're getting there. Awesome. And this week, if everybody tunes in to the waiver video and everything, we are going to eclipse 1 million views on YouTube which is an awesome thing to think about from when we started, and we'd get 8 views on a video, and we'd get 2 people to show up, and it was like Bryce's mom and Sully's wife to our live streams. So we appreciate all of you guys, the support that you've given us over the past few years. But to reach 5K subs here over the next couple weeks, couple months, and to eclipse 1 million views, like, I don't think people really grasp how many a freaking million is, but it's a lot of views. You know, it's not like the big channels that get 100K views on a video and do that, you know, in a couple weeks. But, you know, for a small channel starting from the bottom to get here, we really appreciate everybody.
Seems like yesterday it was the race to 1,000 subs. So good on you, boys. That extra 4 came pretty quick.
Comes a lot quicker. Quicker for sure. Do we have any $5 bets today? Also, Olave or Miles Sanders? It's Miles Sanders. I mean, it's Olave. I'm starting Olave is what I meant to say.
Whoa, I was about to have another $5 bet. It's Olave for me.
It's Olave for me as well.
We got a few, Thomas.
What tell Thomas what bets
we only have one. We only have one.
No, didn't we just bet the Cousins Dimes one too?
Rick said he didn't want it.
Well, I do.
No,
who cares?
I'll take it. Whatever. As long as I'm not in a huge hole, I don't even know. I could be down $500.
What about the Tony versus Gallup?
Oh, give me Gallup.
I mean, I'm not betting that one. I don't like.
I'll bet it. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna lose anyway. I still owe someone like $4,000 from last year. I don't even know who it is.
We have a half hour and we only have 4 questions left, so we can come up with some more bets. Morning. PPR need 1 flex. Chase Claypool, Darrell Henderson Jr.
Yeah, I think Henderson Jr.
AJ Dillon, Clyde
AJ
Edwards.
Dillon, Clyde Edwards is
highlighter. It probably auto-corrected Hilaire to highlighter.
Right. So Bryce,
that's awesome.
Who are you flexing here?
Is Aaron Jones healthy this week?
He's playing.
Does it go?
Give me Chase Claypool. Give me Chase Claypool out of these options.
Sully.
Who you want, Sully?
Yeah, I think so. It's him or Henderson, but Henderson's gross. But Akers can't fall out of a boat and hit water these days. Dillon's struggling. CEH isn't getting on the field. So, yeah, I'll go with Claypool. Claypool catches a 50-yard 50-50, and you're laughing, right? So it's Claypool for me.
Yeah. Again, I wanted you guys to answer this one first because at one point I thought I might be the only one to say Claypool, but that's where I'm going as well.
It's like a Bears stream this thing's turning into, hey?
It's crazy how many Fields, Mooney, and Claypool,
right? And we haven't even talked about
a couple commits.
And we haven't even talked about the running backs. They're both.
We get some questions with him. Here's one right here.
There you go.
It's Swift, right?
It's Swift for me. This is crazy. Like, Swift is in these questions.
Well, apparently Swift's pissed off, and he's really mad about his usage, and they want him to carry his pissed offness, if that's a term, onto the field. So Swift could have a big one this week.
We can make shit up on here if we want. There's nobody.
I've been doing that for 5 years, man.
There's nobody here to correct us.
Swift's the start here. I like Herbert a lot, but Swift's the start.
Yep. KJ Frederick says Kirk Cousins or Daniel Jones. We've had this one. 2 of us went with Kirk Cousins. 1 of us went with Daniel Jones. And just in case you like Sully's opinion more, that is Sully picking Kirk Cousins, me picking Kirk Cousins, and Bryce picking Daniel Jones. And we know Bryce sucks. So
Bryce, what the hell did Gino just do?
So it looked like he handed it to him, didn't it?
Seriously.
Oh, never mind. You look at it, the guy ripped his hand off of it. Okay.
Oh, I thought maybe he was down.
Yeah, it looked like he just threw it up. But
Mostert or Wan'Dale Robinson? Bryce.
I think Mostert's a backup running back at this point, so I'll go with Wan'Dale.
Miami's playing. Who's Miami playing? New Orleans? Pittsburgh's playing New Orleans? Who's Miami playing?
Who is it? I almost said Chicago on accident.
I should know that. I apologize.
I've got it right here. Browns.
Yes, thank you.
Ooh, I will take Mostert then, because you can run all damn day over them, and there's enough meat on the bone for both those guys.
Yeah, you can run all over Chicago, but that didn't work out for Mostert last week.
Yeah.
I'm going Wandale. He's going to get targets. He's the only wide receiver that's
is.
alive over there.
Kenny Galladay's back this week.
Yeah, Kenny G is back.
Yeah, we have now converted into a comedy show. Our segue was immaculate.
Kenny Galladay is going to have some targets, and he might even catch a couple today. What the hell happened to that guy?
He went from sweet to just absolute poo-poo.
He was awesome, and then he's like, I don't give a shit.
Got paid, and then
was
all
like,
of a sudden,
peace.
I'm out. I'm going Wandale Robinson here. Bryce, did you answer? I forgot.
I went Wandale.
Yeah. You went Wandale as well.
Rashad White got the first snaps at running back today. Do you think he is usurping Fournette this season as the primary back? I don't think so. I think as long as Tom Brady is there, Lenny's his guy. I do think it's going to be more 50-50, but I think Fournette's going to get the touchdowns and the a big portion of the pass catching out of the backfield. What do you think there, Bryce?
Yeah, I also think Leonard Fournette is getting the goal line touches as well. He's the bigger back, better for those 2-3 yard runs, and he's efficient in the pass game. But so is Rashad White. He's eaten into his carries more than I'd like as somebody who has Leonard Fournette in some redraft leagues. But I don't think he becomes the primary back till next season.
Sully.
Oh, I think it's Leonard Fournette, and I think when we've seen this in Tampa Bay's offense before, is that when the games become more and more important, Brady targets more and more of the guys he knows he can trust. And to me, that's Fournette. And I know Fournette has never played a full season. I think they're just trying to ensure that he does. And White is looking pretty good, so he's getting some touches. But to Bryce's point, he's a goal line guy. I think he's going to see a little bit of uptick in the passing game as we get closer and closer to the playoffs if Tampa Bay is still in it. So White's a good guy to roster and stash just in case, but Fournette's still their guy in my opinion. Josh Allen officially active.
Andre says, sup, fellas, in a tough spot with Njoku being out. I can pick up Bryant, Juwan, Logan T, and Kylan Grayson if Mo Ali sits. Half PPR. Thanks. So with Njoku out, which one of these guys do you want to start there, Sully?
I'm going to go with Harrison Bryant. I just like his usage and his ability to play in that offense. He has a quarterback who historically loves targeting his tight end and Jacoby Brissett. Juwan Johnson is a fluke touchdown down the sidelines away from being irrelevant. Taylor Heineke hates Logan Thomas. Grayson and Mo Alley Cox are just too inconsistent regardless if one plays or not. So I think it's Harrison Bryant here. It's not easy because these guys are all probably going to get you 6 points, but Bryant has the touchdown upside, and that's where I'm always going to default in tight end. So that's what I'm doing. Bryce?
Yeah, I'm going Harrison Bryant as well. I mean, Logan Thomas back 2 weeks, had a huge snap count last week and still put up a goose egg. So I'll take Bryant with the matchup against Miami, where I think that Jacoby Brissett's going to have to throw a lot. So
revenge game for Jacoby too.
Yep. Rick.
I mean, at this point, who does Jacoby play that's not a revenge game? He's bounced around a little bit the last few years.
Well, he hasn't played that many teams, but that's a good point.
I mean, it's not Cade McNown level, right? I was watching that video.
Josh Johnson.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Josh McCown, though, I was watching that stream because he does one on Underdog Fantasy, and he has a jersey from every team, and his wall is full that he played. Oh, that's great. Maybe
White is taking this job. He's running like crazy right now.
Yeah, he just ran for and he stiff-armed that dude into next week. Jeez.
All right, guys, we're doing a show. Bryce, pay attention. Logan Thomas should be the guy here, but you're right with Heineke in there. So I'm going Bryant as well.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how Thomas isn't getting targeted. It's ridiculous.
Sucks.
You don't have to do anything, Bryce.
Hunter Henry, David Njoku.
Okay, Ryan Tannehill and Brandon Cooks are also both active today.
Who that? Sorry, Cooks and who?
Tannehill.
Yeah.
Instead of
good.
All week.
Yeah,
I
instead
need
of Malik Willis.
I need Tannehill, which I don't expect much out of him, but I need him this week.
KJ says, and sorry to add to my question, do I start Daniel over Andy Dalton and Jared Goff full point PPR? I'm starting Jared Goff.
I'm going Cousins, Jones, Goff, Dalton.
Oh, wait. My question, do I start Kirk, Daniel over? Well, okay, I got to go back to his question. Kirk Cousins. Cousins.
He's adding Andy Dalton and Jared Goff too.
So does Daniel?
I'm going.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I think I'm going Jared Goff against Chicago. Chicago can't stop anybody on defense. I think I'm going Jared Goff here.
You're going Goff over Cousins?
Yeah, just because you get the same type of usage. I think they're both going to throw a lot, but the Bears defense at best isn't as good as Buffalo's defense at worst.
Yeah,
they're both the same.
That game could be really high scoring today. I will also go Jared Goff. Jared Goff, Daniel Jones, Kirk Cousins, then Andy Dalton far behind those three options.
Yeah, Andy Dalton definitely doesn't belong in this conversation, I don't think, but I do think I go.
They're all close to me.
Yeah, I think I go Goff, Kirk, and then Jones would be the order I'd have them in. Kirk's the best real life quarterback. I don't think there's an argument there.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I just don't know what to expect out of Goff. I think. I don't know. You can do a lot of things to Chicago defensively, but to your point, they're going to score a ton too. So maybe Goff is a valid option, and maybe the weather's the equalizer in Buffalo as well. But I'm going to stick with my boy. He's going to be dancing on the plane with chains and no shirt again this week.
That would be awesome.
I love him. He's
so
awesome. Fun. It was great.
Wait, you love him? I thought you didn't like him.
No, I like this version of him. I hated the.
I love the shirtless gold chain.
No. I just like the Vikings without Zimmer. Like the culture's totally different there. It's like people actually want to go to work. Like before, it was like anybody was afraid to do anything. So
I want that. Like that Kirk Cousins back.
Yeah, he's fun when he's got an edge. As long as he plays at 1 PM, I don't give a shit.
As long as it's not Sunday night or Monday Night Football.
Totally.
That was the last question that we have for now.
All right.
We can either call it a morning. There's 20 minutes left, but obviously people watching football. Or we can hang around for a little bit. That's up to you guys. I have a private chat here. Oh, that was Bryce telling me there was a dumbass super chat from Anthony.
Oh, that's a nice pass.
My stuff's buffering.
I like Cade Otton. Hey, do you like Cade Otton?
Yeah, has he been doing some stuff? Because I had to start him in a couple spots.
I think he had 2 catches that I've seen, but he just had about a 35 or about a 25-yard right down the seam.
I was gonna say,
real nice catch.
This says 3 for 35.
It looks like he just got 20 of it. Brady just put that in the perfect spot, and Otton made a really nice catch.
Yeah, we were talking about him before you joined the pregame room. Before we went live,
tight ends have been feasting on Seattle, so I'm surprised they didn't do a little bit more. Man, is Fournette out? Where is he?
Fournette now has less carries than Rachaad White does.
16-14. What team is this? This is crazy.
And wow, only 1 target.
Yep.
They're not.
What is Otton? 3 for 35 for Otton.
Brady's been kind of pushing the ball down today. I mean, Rachaad White it's not like he's not efficient at all. 16 for 70. That's not very good. 16 for 68.
It's really over 4 yards per carry.
4.3 and Lenny's 4.1. And Tampa Bay has averaged 61 yards rushing a game this year, and they're
100 to 102, 124 between those two.
Yeah, and Brates with another tight end catch. Jarvis is officially active. Who else? Yeah, Jarvis, which is nice.
Would you start Kadarius Toney or Alec Pierce?
Toney.
Yeah. Looks like Zeke is out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. McCarthy expects Zeke to sit, but his boss expects him to play. So we'll see what happens.
It could get interesting. Our boy Matt Clayton flew from Dallas to Green Bay this weekend to go to that Green Bay Dallas game.
That's cool.
He got those tickets a long time ago before he knew Green Bay was going to suck ass, but I love it. I love it.
So we'll have Custer watching the Packers suck, and now Mac watching the Packers suck. This is kind of cool.
Custer was at the Detroit Green Bay game last weekend, and he was talking in the private one of the group chats, one of our league chats, and he said that it was his daughter's first game, at least that she could remember, because they took her to one when she was a baby. But I said, yep, and now she's a Lions fan. I love it. Custer, you suck. The entire mindset around the Vikings changed too, from afraid to lose to we want to win.
Yeah, they went from losing every one-score game to winning every one-score game. And typically that's going to even itself out. Like, I'm not a delusional Vikings fan. Probably should have lost to the Bears. Probably should have lost to the Saints in London. But they're not. And last year they would have lost them all. So good on them.
Listen, I'm so sick of hearing this. You said it about the Vikings. About how they're the worst.
They're the worst 7-1 team in NFL history.
Which is just nonsense. I don't think that's true at all, because I think Pittsburgh was worse just a couple of years ago when they were 7-1.
Oh, that's right. They were undefeated. They were like 10-0, weren't they?
They were 10-0. Yeah, whatever. They were worse.
I'll give you that second.
But it's hard to win in the NFL. It doesn't matter what your schedule says. You know, people talking about the Eagles not beating anybody. Like, the Eagles are a good freaking football team, whether they've had a stacked schedule or not. And this is what people forget, right? Like, I mean, Eagles weren't bad last year. They made the playoffs. But one of the benefits I've been talking with my Bears fans friends is, like, losing is good, not only for the draft pick, but you also get a perceived softer schedule the next year.
That's true.
And a lot of people don't think about that. Obviously, any of the teams can bounce. Like, look at Seattle. Everybody thought they were going to be bad. But then Geno plays well, and here they are. That's another benefit, is if you're bad this year, you should have a softer schedule the following year.
I just got a text from my Buffalo Bills insider, Kevin Kloss. Allen did not warm up with the other quarterbacks, and it's looking like he's active as the backup.
Sweet.
So if you have Josh Allen, and I would never say this, but if you have any other viable option, you got to go there.
Yeah, I could definitely see sitting him. I'm not worried about the other, like, main components of this offense. The Stephon Diggs, like, I think Case Keenum can, do fine enough to hit Stephon Diggs points, and whether it's McKenzie or Gabe Davis. I'm not a big Gabe Davis guy, but if you normally start those guys, it obviously changes with Josh Allen out, but I think Case Keenum is fine enough. This ain't Peterman, coming in and could wreck everything. I think Case Keenum,
I think
he's a veteran backup that can put up some points in a week.
Same as Colt McCoy this week, right? Like, he can still get the ball down the field. Do the Bills run the Minneapolis Miracle play this week if Keenum plays? Do they just throw it out to the right side to Diggs and hope that Minnesota's defense self-destructs?
That would be awesome. Going to Thomas's point here, like, Zeke isn't the old Zeke, but their offense isn't better without Zeke. I don't agree with that at all. No,
I don't either. And I get it. Like, so here's a theory I have, and tell me if I'm crazy or not. But so you have these situations with, like, Tony Pollard and Jalen Warren are the two guys that pop to mind, where that secondary running back seems to be and just is more productive.
Khalil Herbert in Chicago.
Yeah, he's a little different, though, because I think he's actually kind of on par. But do you think that teams just focus and gear more when it's Zeke versus Pollard or Harris versus Warren?
See,
does that make any sense?
But see, this is a big difference. There are guys that are just better in limited action, right? Like, if you make Pollard a full-time RB1 for an NFL team, he's going to become far less efficient.
Right.
And he's probably going to break down. And that's what you don't get when you have Zeke taking a bunch of those carries. You keep Pollard fresh and strong. And that's what a lot of people don't think about. He's not a big enough back he can't be the one and take all the work. Like, it's just not, that's not in Pollard's cards ever.
Like, if Pollard gets a draw on 3rd and 18 and runs for 12 yards, they're like, whoa, Tony Pollard looks good. The defense is going to give you that 12 yards all day long, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I could be off, but
that's
Pollard
like Blake.
Really...
That's like Blake Bortles completing 15 out of 15 in the fourth quarter of a game where the Jaguars are losing by 30.
Right.
That defense doesn't care if he throws 15 completions; they're not going to lose. Zeke is just a good all-around back, and he doesn't lose you yards. Like, he doesn't lose yards. He's always positive. He's positive yards, positive yards. I've tracked every carry for the past 3 seasons, and Zeke is one of the most consistent running backs at getting his team positive yards. He just does not lose, but he doesn't break 20-yarders. He's not that running back.
Cool.
He's never really been that running back. I think he's got 2 50-yard runs in his career. He's not the big play threat. He is I'm going to beat the shit out of you for 4 quarters, and you're going to wear down, and you're going to wear down, and you're going to wear down, and I'm going to continue getting 6 to 10 yards per touch.
The other thing that makes the Cowboys a better offense with Zeke on the field is he is an excellent pass protector as a running back. Yeah. Pollard stinks. Like, you watch the Cowboys play, and Zeke is picking up that linebacker coming and blitzing, and he might not stop him in his tracks, but he's doing enough that Dak can get rid of the football where he wants to. So you're right. He's not who he was, but and I know Thomas is tongue in cheek with that comment, but Zeke's a hell of a lot better than a lot of people give him credit for.
Thomas just knows more about soccer than he does about football.
Football.
Yeah, it's called football for him.
Football.
I call it soccer. I don't.
Are the Bucks back?
I mean,
did Brady kickstart his heart with that?
Here's my
drive last week.
Here's my thing.
He's undefeated once divorced.
We could argue that this is just the Seattle team that we expected to see all year.
There's a nice Kenneth Walker catch and run.
It could be. Geno Smith has sort of come back to earth a little bit here today.
Yeah.
So did Kenneth Walker. 9 for 17. That's not good.
I think Walker just had a
the Tampa Bay
30. But yeah, Walker's been tough.
I think the Tampa Bay run defense is arguably the best in the league.
It's been this year, though.
Yeah, it's been bad this year. I have a.
What are they ranked against the run?
It can't be good. They need Hicks to play because Hicks is a freaking run-stopping
Hicks,
beast.
I mean, that's the big thing that Chicago was missing. So where'd we go here? Tampa Bay is 28th. Wait. I mean,
I swear, I feel like nobody's.
They're only giving up 16.4 PPR points per game.
Really?
To the running back, I thought they've been really efficient against running backs.
I don't know if this is. I don't
know.
Hold
on, I can see. I'll look at MF this league. Yeah, they're averaging in a regular PPR format the third best against the running back. So I knew they were doing well against running backs.
This must be half PPR.
Yeah. They're doing well against running backs this year.
But they rank their worst against the tight end.
I have no clue about I have no clue against the pass, but I thought their run defense has been stout this year, or just in general, like, because their linebackers match up well against all running backs. Like, they can cover, they fill the gaps. Like, they arguably have the best duo middle linebackers in the league. So
looks like Seattle waited too long to throw the ball, huh?
Yeah.
Well, remember when Kenneth Walker couldn't catch?
He's eating now.
I didn't see that. Did he drop some?
What? No,
yeah, he's joking. Like, what people
that was the knock on him coming out, right? Is, well, he can't catch. It's like, no, it's because Michigan State didn't ever throw him the football.
Yeah,
but Walker's like tearing apart this defense right now.
He's got like 4 catches this drive already. He's getting all his points, and I need it.
I don't, but I do at the same time. Do you start Daniel Jones over Josh Allen now, with the potential that he might be the backup?
Yeah. I mean, I need to see. I love Kevin.
But you won't know until
let's look at Twitter if there's.
I love Kevin, but I need to see something from some actual NFL sources.
Wow.
I don't really know that if you're that questionable that you come out with the other quarterbacks, right? Like, I don't know if that's part of the routine or
I don't either,
or what, so I don't know.
All I've seen on Twitter is that he's active. So
yeah, that's all I've seen. Again, Kevin could be right. I have no idea. So I would need to see a little bit more from.
So my wife's fishbowl team, who is the tops in our division. Yeah.
Oh, I have him in fishbowl.
So do you go? So her 3 quarterbacks that she's been with all years: Josh Allen, Tua, and touchdown Seattle. Lockett, shit, and Daniel Jones.
Hated that.
So Tua's in. Allen would be in on a normal week, but now she's got to make the decision between Jones and Allen, and I'm wondering what she should do.
I mean, if you're worried about him not being the starter, not getting a lot of work, then you have to go Daniel Jones. I think it's just that's what it comes down to.
Decisions.
Do you believe Josh Allen is the backup today? If you believe that, then it's any other quarterback.
Yeah.
If he's active, he has to play. I mean, the whole division is pretty much a 1 game apart. The entire division, 1 game apart.
So
if you're going to sit him, though, you're going to sit him against an NFC opponent with the Browns, and then I can't remember who it is the week after that.
So here's my dilemma.
I think Keenum can beat the Vikings, though. What's your dilemma, Rick?
My dilemma is Josh Allen, A.J. Dillon, Isaiah McKenzie, Scott Fishbowl.
Well, I don't know.
I don't either. That's why I'm asking. I think I just leave Allen in there. I've got a playoff spot locked up.
There you go. So play the upside, because playoff spots are based, you start with your average points, right? So if Allen can play and get you even 15, he's going to score more than, because that's the other thing. Allen could play. The Bills could go up 21-16 or 6 and then just sit him down, right? And run the football.
All right. Andres, thanks. So who to drop for Harrison Bryant? Wan'Dale, DPJ, Treylon Burks, Tony, or Rashad? I have Henry, Etienne, Sanders, and Khalil, so can drop White. I'm a bit more needy at wide receiver and hoping one stash hits. I'm not dropping Rashad. I mean, we're seeing right now that he's as much of the running back one in Tampa Bay as Fournette, right? Over the past couple of weeks, at least getting the rushing work. And he can get some receiving work as well. So I'm not dropping Rashad. I think Treylon Burks is my drop here.
Yeah, it's Treylon or it's
DPJ.
Tony. I wouldn't drop DPJ because Watson's coming back and DPJ is like an 11-point PPR guy.
I'm not dropping Tony attached to Mahomes. That's not happening for me.
I'm assuming that's Derrick Henry, not Hunter Henry, because if it's Hunter Henry, punt his ass.
I'm dropping. If I have to drop any of these guys, I'm dropping DPJ.
I think I'm gonna not drop anyone and take the donut at tight end, because that's the only reason you're picking up Harrison Bryant, right?
Yeah, if you got like maybe Mark Andrews or something, or
Njoku.
Njoku was who Andre said he had.
But if you have Njoku, he's been out for weeks, so he should have another tight end somewhere, unless that guy.
Well, they could be on bye, right? Yeah. So, I mean, I don't have a problem dropping Treylon Burks. We're talking about a Titans team that isn't going to throw the ball a lot anyway. They're going to run with Derrick Henry and some Dontrell Hilliard, and he's still got to beat out Robert Woods for targets. And I'm not big on Burks down the stretch.
I don't think Burks does much today. I don't think Tony does much today. So you could probably drop either one and probably get him back next week. But I think Rick's right. You could definitely get Burks back.
You're definitely going to get Burks level talent off
unless they score, right?
Right, but even if it's not Treylon Burks, like you're going to be able to get somebody Treylon Burks level off the waivers next week. Like, I don't think any of us expect him to be a top 24 wide receiver down the stretch, right? Like that's not in the cards for Burks, is it?
Probably not, but the path for it is not god awful. I mean, nobody there is catching anything, so
they're not throwing it.
But this dude is a guy that barely practices. He's way behind the ball out of rookie wide receivers. I mean, that's the worry for me.
No.
Would you drop any of them to stash the Jets DST? No.
Nope.
I would not. He said he played likely last week.
There you go.
Makes sense.
So I send my wife the text about Klaus and his insider situation, and she replies back and says, I'm not sure I qualify as a season ticket holder as an insider. same thing that you said. No wonder she's in first and I'm in like 11th in that freaking division.
I love Kevin, but that is not the insider I'm looking for. All right, everybody.
Keyshawn Vaughn with a carry.
We wish you the best of luck in week 10. We will be back.
Bryce.
Yeah.
Then we wish you more than the best.
All the luck in the world, right?
Yes, all of it. Take mine. Take my luck. I'll take the L's this week. Just go out there and beat the shit out of Bryce. But we will be back next Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern with your Boomer Bust show. Bring your questions. Hopefully next week we don't have any more football on Sunday mornings, right? We're done with that.
No,
now?
this one's the last one, I believe.
This one right here.
So we can have your full undivided attention and answer all of your questions. Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Bryce and Leone are there for your dynasty questions. They're going to have a nice show for you this Tuesday night. Wednesday is the redraft Fantasy Inferno show at 9 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you tune in to watch Cody and Shane on that, unless Brad and I have to cover again and have a little bit of fun on a Wednesday night. But
that was awesome.
We appreciate all of you coming out, supporting, and asking your questions. Any last words, Bryce?
Nope, we already said it.
Sully.
Keyshawn Vaughn with a catch. No, I got nothing.
What?
And a decent move for a first down.
I mean, he really hasn't been bad on the opportunities that he's got. He just hasn't got any opportunities.
This could be career high.
Go.
Good luck to everybody this week. And I hope whoever starts Josh Allen, it works out, because that's a really tough situation.
Yeah, that's a tough one for sure. Later, everybody.
Later.
Cheers.